Hey guys, it's Leanne. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. So if you're someone new here, then obviously just a little bit of background information about my YouTube is that it's just all things makeup related. So honest makeup reviews, informative makeup tutorials and makeup giveaways. So on that note about makeup giveaways, I've actually got an open makeup giveaway at the moment, which means there's still time to enter this giveaway, and it is actually international. So in the giveaway, you'll basically win the whole e.l.f. Mint Melt makeup collection. Not the skincare because they just didn't have that in my local drugstore, but the actual makeup. So you'll get the 3 brushes, you'll get the Mint Melt Cool and Face Primer, which is a favourite of mine. You'll get both eyeshadow palettes. So you'll get this one, which is Mint 2B, and this one, which is called Chocolate Mint. So you'll get both of those too. You'll also get 3 lip glosses from the collection. One's a sparkly one, one's just a mint gloss, like mint coloured gloss, and the other one's more of a chocolate gloss. Now I think there is one more gloss, but they didn't have it last time I checked, so, but yeah, apparently there is a 4th gloss, but you'll get 3 if you win this collection. And you'll also get the 3 No Budge eyeshadow sticks, all of which I've not tried, so if you do win this collection, please let me know what these are like. So go and enter. I'll leave the link to the video in the description bar so you can actually go and enter. Obviously all rules must be followed, but you'll find out what they are if you go and watch that giveaway video. So good luck, and I just thought I'd remind everyone in this tutorial. But basically the video needs 100 likes and then I'm going to be drawing the winner. So once the video's got 100 likes, I'm taking no more entries and I'm going to reveal like who the winner is, so there's still actually time to enter. Today's look was all about my favourite drugstore products. That's what this video is. So it's a makeup tutorial, but it's also a bit of a review / talk through, get ready with me video. So this is the look I've got on the skin at the moment. And this is just a combo of my favourite drugstore products, like my absolute holy grail products. So obviously all that makeup that I'm wearing today and I've reviewed today is inexpensive, and I actually give you the reasons why I love certain products. So on that note, if you'd like to see how to achieve this makeup look, which is literally perfect for daytime or evening time because it's just so flawless and full coverage, then obviously stick around, keep on watching to the end. And if you want to know what products I used, obviously make sure you keep watching. But yeah, let's just jump in. So today's tutorial is obviously just all about using my holy grail products from the drugstore. So I've actually included as many as possible really. I've included a few different bronzers, a few different lip liners, a few different highlighters, and yeah, I'm just going to be talking through them all and why I love them, and I'm obviously just going to be doing a full face beat. So yeah, let's just start off with primer. So I'm going to be going in with NYX the Marshmallow Primer. Now I really do love this primer. I feel like it does actually help makeup to last for like as long as possible. It's got a 16-hour claim, so it claims to like make makeup last for 16 hours. And I've actually done a full review and wear test on this primer, which I'm going to link in the description bar. So please go and check that out. But yeah, it basically just soothes the skin, hydrates it. Apparently even skin tone, which I'm not like convinced on that one. But it does feel amazing on the skin. It smells gorgeous. It smells of marshmallows. And yeah, I really do feel like it makes makeup look just the most flawless as possible and long lasting. I'm just going to let the primer sink into the skin, but while I do that, just so I don't waste any time, I'm going to be going in with the e.l.f. Instant Lift Brow Pencil, and my shade is Neutral Brown. And if you're similar like complexion and hair colour, whatever to me, then basically deep brown is too dark in my opinion for like my eyebrow hair colour, but neutral brown is just right. So if anyone is like similar complexion and, you know, hair shade and everything to me, then that might just be a little useful tip. But yeah, this pencil is literally £3. It's so easy to use. It really does last as well. And for £3, I'm just blown away by it. It feels like a much more expensive product really. And then I use a little spoolie just on the end just to comb the brow pencil through the hairs. I'm just following the direction of my brow hairs when I'm filling them in. So for the foundation today, I'm actually going to be going in with the Revolution Conceal and Define Full Coverage Foundation. So I'm using this as like my Holy Grail drugstore foundation, but there are 2 other foundations from the drugstore which I probably like just as much, I'd say. So I'm going to mention them now just in case anyone is interested. So the other drugstore Holy Grail for me would be the Maybelline Superstay 30 Hour Foundation, and this is the new one, so this is the Superstay Activewear. And then the other Holy Grail drugstore is another Maybelline one, so the Maybelline Dream Urban Cover. This is literally amazing, full coverage as well. It's got SPF 50 and it's anti-pollution. So yeah, those 2 more into like they've both got good benefits and stuff, but for me it's more in terms of how they make the skin look. So I do love those 2 foundations. So let me know what you think of those in the comment section. I'm not sure if you've tried them. Most people have probably tried this one, but I'm not sure about this one. But yeah, I really love this one anyway. So those 2 definitely rank in the top 3 drugstore foundations for me. But for today's look, I am actually going to be using the Revolution Conceal and Define Full Coverage Foundation. So I'm going to be mixing the shades F8.5 with the shade F10. Now, this foundation's got like a doe foot applicator. I don't actually really need to use a brush, but I kind of still want to, as that's just my normal foundation method, just to apply foundation with a brush and then go over with a beauty sponge. It just feels wrong if I don't do it that way. So I'm going to be going in with the Morphe M439 brush, and doing it this way as well actually gives you a more full coverage. By applying foundation with a brush, you'll get a more full coverage than if you just apply with a beauty sponge. But I do use the beauty sponge after the brush just to make sure that I get the most airbrush and flawless finish. Now, I know that that looks scary because it does look a bit orange and too warm for my complexion, but I promise I've tried this shade before and it all works out fine. And I actually don't mind being a little bit more bronze, really, with foundation. So I'm going with the lighter shade now. This is F8.5, and I'm just going to blend this on top. And in terms of full coverage, I really do think this is a full coverage foundation, and it's one of my favourites because of that reason. It is really full coverage, but because it really makes the skin look so flawless, and it really does last as well. So what would have probably been a really good idea to begin with would have been to take my little plastic palette and to actually mix the foundation, rather than put the darkest shade on then the lightest, then to try and mix them in. I actually should have just put both foundations on this palette, which is what I'm doing now. Better late than never, eh? So yeah, now I'm going to be picking up my little Inglot spatula, shall we say. So this is the 57S brush. I don't know if it's a brush, but basically I just use it as a spatula to mix products and sometimes apply foundation. So yeah, I've just mixed the shade F8.5 and F10, which would have been wise to do at the beginning, but whatever. I'm just going over the places where I need a bit more full coverage. So for me, that's definitely on the cheeks due to redness, a little bit on the forehead because of blemishes, definitely on the chin. Most definitely, I always get redness on the chin, and that is where for some reason foundation always seems to come off. So again, I'm just using the Morphe M439 brush, and I'm just literally patting this into the skin. I'm not swiping or rubbing, as you can see. I'm just literally pressing the foundation into the skin. The reason I also use a beauty blender on top is because sometimes you get brush hair strokes, or brush, even not just brush hair strokes, even just brush marks, where maybe you've actually been patting the foundation in a bit too hard. So that's another reason why I actually do this. Just go on top with a beauty sponge. And this is an actual beauty blender, in case anyone is wondering. Okay, so I am quite happy with the coverage now. So I'm just going to be taking the last little bits of the foundations that I mixed and just applying the last little bits to the face from the beauty blender. And yeah, this foundation to me is just perfect because it's not too matte, not too glowy. It's just somewhere in between, but still provides such amazing coverage, and it really does last. And it photographs so well, by the way. Like, I've noticed when I have this foundation on, it really does photograph amazingly well. So that's why it's one of my favourites. So I'm going to be going in with the e.l.f. Hydrating Camo Concealer Satin Finish Concealer, and this is in the shade Fair Warm. I'm just going to be applying this where I need it, and I'm also going to be using it to actually highlight the face. And because it's a hydrating concealer, I'm just going to leave it on the face for a little bit just to get it to its maximum coverage, as sometimes if you let a product like a concealer go a little bit tacky and let it dry down a little bit, it actually provides more coverage rather than just blending the concealer out straight away. By letting it just sit on the skin for a little bit, you'll actually build up a better coverage. And then I'm going to take a little bit of that F8.5 concealer and just apply a little bit more to my plastic palette. So I'm going to be taking that same beauty blender now and just bouncing this concealer into the skin, which it is actually really blending into this foundation seamlessly. And then before, when I actually picked up a little bit of the F8.5 foundation, this was the reason why, just so that the concealer does not just look like very light and like it doesn't blend. So I've picked up the foundation on this beauty blender and I'm just blending the edges of the concealer with a bit of the foundation. And that's just a very good tip if like you ever struggle with just like your concealer looking very white and harsh and too light and not really blending into the rest of the skin makeup. This is how I combat that problem. Basically, we're just taking a little bit of the foundation and blending the edges of the concealer. And then we'll be taking the other end now just to press over the concealer and really make sure that it is blended away seamlessly. So to actually set the under eye and then do some form of baking, I'm going to be going in with the Makeup Revolution Luxury Baking Powder, and this is in the shade Lace. When I've used this, it really does make the under eye appear flawless, and it's like a pink undertone, so that will actually counteract some discoloration. So any like blue type of bags, that will actually help to colour correct. So that's why I love it so much. It really does neutralise any discoloration, and it just makes the under eye so matte and so flawless. So it's definitely my favourite drugstore powder I've ever tried up to now. Literally ever. And I would definitely recommend it to like anyone to give it a try at least. So I'm just going to be taking that powder and setting the places where I actually applied the concealer. And then I'm just going to do a little bit of where I'm going to be putting the contour. I'm actually just going to be carving out underneath before I've done the contour. So I'm just pressing this powder into the under eye. And I'm just pressing it into the areas where you've seen me apply it. And then now I'm just going to be taking a large face brush and just dusting over the face, just to make sure if there is any excess powder that it's all off and it's not just sitting on top of the skin. So then, now that I've actually set underneath the eye, I'm actually going to be baking underneath the eye now. So, same powder again. And by baking, this will just brighten the under eye, but it will also mean that I can apply eyeshadow now. And if any fallout from the eyeshadow falls like just underneath the eye, as it sometimes does, this powder will catch it, and then I can just sweep it away and it won't be stuck to the foundation. By the way, I don't know if I gave enough commentary on the e.l.f. Hydrating Camo Concealer Satin Finish, but this concealer I've found is like minimal creasing. It's got like so many shades in the range, which is really obviously inclusive, dead good, and it does give an almost full coverage, I would say. I'm never 100% happy with concealers because I always find that one eye, I think it's this eye, there's like a deeper bag, a bit of deeper discoloration on the under eye, and I'm never ever satisfied 100%, but I'm like as close as can be with this, and for the price as well, I think it's amazing. So yeah, this is literally a top product. Definitely the closest drugstore to full coverage concealer that I can think of anyway. So for my Holy Grail eyeshadows from the drugstore, maybe you can guess this if you're a regular watcher of this channel, maybe not, but it's definitely the e.l.f. Bite Size eyeshadow quads. So I've actually got 4 of them. I've got the Mint Melt one, which is limited edition, so this one's meant to be. I've got this one, which is Truffles. I've got the Hot Jalapeno one, which is like more of a greeny, mustardy one. And then I've got Pumpkin Pie, which is more of a brownie one. So I'm just going to be using a combo of these eyeshadows today just to create an everyday eyeshadow look basically. The formula of these e.l.f. quads are so pigmented. The price is amazing, £3 for the normal ones, and then the mint melt ones I think they're £4, but they're £3 or £4, and like the quality is unbelievable. The colours as well, like I've done a full look with this, and then I've done another full look just with this. So they're so inexpensive, you could probably afford to have one of each palette, but you really don't have to, because these actually do go so well at just creating one look anyway. So I'm actually going to be going back in with the e.l.f. Hydrating Camo Concealer Satin Finish, but this is in a different shade. So this is in the shade Light Beige. So this is the one I've used, and then this is the one I'm using now, so it's obviously a bit warmer, a bit deeper, and I'm going to be using this just to carve out under the eyebrows and to actually prime the eyelids for eyeshadow. So I'm just picking up a Zoeva 144 brush. Yeah, I really like the look of the eyebrows being carved out underneath. I think it just makes everything look a lot more neater and cleaner and a bit more sleek. And obviously by actually applying concealer to prime the lids, it'll mean that your eyeshadow will last longer, will be less likely to crease, and obviously you are taking out any discoloration, like any veins from the eyelids, which I do have. You're actually like covering them up, you're effectively concealing them. Same beauty blender again, I'm just going to be pouncing this into the eyelid, and then now we've literally got a flawless blank canvas to start our eyeshadow. So I'm going to be starting with the e.l.f. Bite Size eyeshadow, and this is the Truffles palette. So I'm going to be taking this brown from the palette, and I'm picking this up on a Zoeva 227 Luxe Soft Definer brush. Look how pigmented that is. Wow, I haven't actually used these palettes for ages, but that is so pigmented. So I'm just packing this onto the outer corner of the eyelid, and I'm just making sure that this colour goes above my own natural crease, so that when I actually open my eye you can still see this colour. It's not getting swallowed by my actual eyelid. So I'm just blending the edges of this colour now just by using windscreen wiper motions and circular motions, and it really is just blending away like a dream. So just building it up a little bit more, because obviously when you do blend, inevitably some of the pigment does fade. So I'm just going to go in with a clean brush now. So I'm going in with the Morphe M518 brush, and I'm just literally going to be blending this shadow up to the brow using windscreen wiper motions as before, and also circular motions. So I'm going to be going in now with the e.l.f. Bite Size eyeshadow in Pumpkin Pie, and I'm going to be taking this brown shade, which is a really warm toned brown from the palette, and that's on the same brush, which was a clean brush, which is now not. So that's the Morphe M518. They're so pigmented, but such good quality the way they blend. Like, you definitely think these palettes were like more than £3, definitely. So then now I'm going to be taking this colour from the Pumpkin Pie palette and just pressing it onto the inner corner. Again, so pigmented. It's unbelievable for £3, honestly. So I'm just going to be picking up that Morphe M518 brush and just blending the edges of this lid colour up into the crease. And then I'm just going to be going in with the Bite Size eyeshadow in the shade Truffles. I'm going to be taking this silvery shimmer shade and just pressing that just on the actual lid. And even this is so pigmented, it's such a nice shimmer. So again, going back with the Morphe M518 brush just to blend these edges. So I'm just going to do the other eye real quick, and then I'm going to come back to the face makeup. So to actually do the waterline, I'm going to be going in with one of my favourite drugstore waterline pencils. So, well, eyeliner pencils, but I mainly use this for the waterline. So this is the NYX Slide On, Glide On, Stay On, and Definitely a Turn On Waterproof Extreme Shine Eyeliner. So this is in the shade Golden Bronze, which is a favourite shade of mine. So these pencils are so pigmented, so long lasting, and I always do set them because that's just me, but the colours that NYX actually do are amazing. So I'm actually going to be setting this with one of the smashed glitters from Pumpkin Pie. These palettes obviously just have one name and the individual shades don't have names, but yeah, it's basically this glitter, like a coppery shimmer. So I'm just running that just underneath where I've applied that pencil. Like, look how pigmented that colour is. Such a nice copper shade, I love it. So I'm now going to be going in with the e.l.f. Mint Melt bite-sized eyeshadow quad. So this is Mint 2B. And I'm going to be going in with a little bit of Primark's PS Prep and Perfect Prime and Infuse Instant Hydration Priming Spray. This smells gorgeous, by the way. Yeah, it smells of coconut oil, it's lovely. So I'm just going to be spraying that just to make this shade a little bit more pigmented. So this one here, which is a bit of a silvery mint shade, which is what I've got on the inner corner here. And I'm just taking a pencil / bullet brush to do this because it's just the easiest way to do it, in my opinion. It's literally like the perfect size to fit in to the inner corner. And just adding a bit of that spray really makes the pigment in the shimmer stand out so much. So now I'm actually going to be doing a little bit of mascara. So I'm going to be going in with the Primark False Lash Queen mascara. Now I actually love this. I feel like confident enough to go out without any false lashes when I actually wear this mascara. Okay, so this is how the mascara is looking. Now to me, I think that's amazing. That's just off 1 or 2 coats. And I actually do feel confident enough to leave the house like this without lashes. But I probably will add lashes, but I'm just saying, if it was a daytime look and you didn't really have the time to do lashes, this mascara literally does the trick without. Okay, so now I'm just going to be dusting off all this excess powder. Again, so look at that under eye, it's so flawless. Like, even though I've added a ton of powder, I don't think you could really tell, in my opinion. I think it looks just quite smooth and not very cakey at all. So I'm going to be going in with skin products now. So I'm going to be doing 2 different types of bronzers, which are my favourite drugstore bronzers. The first bronzer, which is an absolute holy grail drugstore favourite, is the NYX Matte Bronzer. So the shade I've got is Deep Tan, and as you can tell, it's so loved. And then I've also got another shade, which is called Dark Tan. One's more warm toned, which is this one, and one's more cool toned. So this is more of a bronze shade and this is more of a contour shade. It's a bit more grey than this one. So I'm going to be going in with the MAC Cosmetics 168 brush and the NYX Matte Bronzer in the shade Deep Tan. And I'm just going to be stamping this just onto the hollows of the cheeks. So as you can see, this powder is just applying and blending away like a dream. It's so smooth and literally flawless. Like, it's actually seamless. It looks so nice. It's not patchy, it's not cakey. Now, I am aware that I've just said that there was 2 bronzers that I really loved, but there's actually 3. And I actually do want to show you as many drugstore holy grails as possible. So there is actually 3. So I'm going in with the other shade now. So this is the Dark Tan shade, which is more of the contour shade, as I pointed out before. So yeah, it's probably clear to see why I love these bronzers from NYX. Literally blend away seamlessly. They're not patchy, they're not cakey, they're not muddy. Obviously that's to do with picking the right tone for your skin, the right shade for your skin tone. But basically, the actual products are fantastic quality, so I definitely recommend them. Now, this is not a bronzer, it's just a powder that I've picked up in a deeper shade, more for clients than myself, but I've actually ended up using it and literally seeing how flawless it applies, and the shade for me is perfect as a bronzer / contour. So this is the Maybelline Fit Me Matte and Poreless powder, pressed powder, and I've got the shade 350 Caramel and I've got the shade 250 Sun Beige. So again, one's a bit deeper and one's a bit lighter, but I'm just going to be applying a little bit of these just on top of that contour, as it really helps to blend in. You know, like just underneath the concealer. Sometimes I'll just take a little bit of this powder and just press it underneath the concealer, and then that just means that obviously your contour slash bronzer will not just look like a more brown shade mixed with a really light shade. It'll actually just blend by applying a powder that's in the middle of the concealer and the contour. So this is just a total extra step, by the way. It's totally unnecessary, it's just a little tip. But yeah, basically I just wanted to show you, because these products are perfect as bronzers. If you want something really subtle and natural, then I would definitely recommend these. And they're from Maybelline, by the way. I think I said, but I'm not sure. So as you can see, I'm actually applying quite a bit of product. So I'm actually applying quite a bit of powder and stuff, and it still looks flawless. It still looks really nice. It's really still applying so well. The last bronzer now that I actually love is more of a glowy bronzer. So this is from e.l.f. This is the e.l.f. bronzer, and I'm in the shade Warm, which looks like this. So I normally just take a combination of all 4 shades, and I don't normally dust it onto the forehead. Well, actually I do, but if I do, I've kind of found lately that it just doesn't look right, because it's got a bit of a pearlescent shimmer to it. It's definitely a shimmer bronzer. It just doesn't look right being on the forehead. But just here, it really looks nice, because it just gives your skin a nice dewy glow. Doesn't make the skin look oily, just really healthy bronzed, and just like really glowing from within. And I think I can notice a difference in terms of glowiness. It kind of looks like highlight a bit. Like here on the cheeks, it's just got like a nice goldeny glow. And all these products, by the way, all these bronzers I'm talking through can obviously be used alone or mixed together. But for the purpose of this video today, I'm just mixing everything all together, just so you can see that they actually work well together. They're actually really buildable. None of the products are patchy, but yet they can all be used alone. You don't have to buy all of these. You can just use the NYX one on its own, it is perfect. You can just use the e.l.f. one on its own if you want a more radiant glow. Now I'm going to be going in with blush. So the blush I've chosen is the Milani Baked Blush in the shade Luminoso. And the reason that I love this blush is because basically when I'm filming on YouTube, I've noticed that when I actually use this blush, it doesn't look harsh at all on camera, and it does photograph really well, and it does blend seamlessly into other products. So it's a bit of a shimmer blush, by the way, as you can probably tell just by that little application. Yeah, it's a little bit of a shimmer blush, which I really like, but it is pigmented. Like, look at that, the difference. Like the rosiness in this cheek to this cheek. Yeah, the main reasons for this is that it's like, the price is obviously amazing, and the actual colour is beautiful and dead flattering, but then obviously the way it photographs and doesn't like really look super heavy. You could really build it up to be extra pigmented, but it doesn't take a lot. But yeah, I love this blush. Like, it's so natural and so glowy, which I love. But if you do have enlarged pores, that might not be the best option for you. So right now I'd say I don't really actually need highlight, but that's because the e.l.f. bronzer's got a bit of highlight in, and the Milani Luminoso blush has got a bit of highlight in. But I am of course going to use highlight just so I can demonstrate my favourite drugstore highlight, basically. If I really had to pick one drugstore highlight, it's going to have to be the NYX Strobe of Genius palette. You get 7 different highlights, and what I do is I just literally take a mixture, and I'd say you can really build this up to be a blinding highlight. And as you can see, it's just melting into the skin. This highlight is not just like sitting on top of the skin, it's actually just melting into the skin and into the other products so well, which is another reason why I really love this palette. Now look how healthy I look. Like, yeah, love this palette. It's literally amazing. So this is the perfect palette for layering highlights, and I definitely recommend it. Now there are 2 other highlights that I definitely recommend. So this is the Maybelline Face Studio Chrome Extreme. So I'll actually show you what that looks like with me applying a little bit. It's definitely a lot more gold, obviously, than the NYX palette. So this is in the shade 400 Molten Gold. It's still really flattering for my skin tone, but it's definitely a lot more gold. Okay, I'm not sure it's really showing up that well or making that much of a difference really, but I just wanted to try it anyway. But yeah, I definitely recommend that as well. Also, a highlight that's included in the e.l.f. Bite Size Face Duo in the shade Guava is this one. It's really pigmented, really gold, but it's just so flattering, and this is also another highlight that just melts into the skin, as is this one. Both of these highlights don't sit on the skin, they just melt in to the makeup perfectly. So I'm just going over with the e.l.f. one now, see if we can actually see any difference with this, and I think we can, straight away on the Cupid's bow. So I'd actually say the e.l.f. one seems a bit more of, like, pigmented and a bit more performing better than the Maybelline one. What do you think? I'm not sure if you can see a difference, but I definitely can now that I'm applying the e.l.f. one. Yeah, look how gold that is. Okay, so clearly the e.l.f. one's like more pigmented than the Maybelline one, and the e.l.f. one's cheaper as well. Okay, so now just to contour the Cupid's bow, I'm going to be going back in with that Maybelline Fit Me powder, and this is in the shade 250 Sun Beige, and I'm just taking a clean eyeshadow brush. So this is the Morphe M518 brush, and I'm just going to be picking a little bit of this powder up and placing it just in the Cupid's bow, and that will just really make the lips look more full, contoured, and stand out a lot more. So as you can see, that just looks more plump to the lips now and more defined, I would say. It really deepens up the Cupid's bow, doesn't it? And then it obviously draws attention to it. So I'm just going to be taking this same powder and just doing a little bit of nose contour as well. So just down the sides of the nose, and then just joining the nose to the front of the brow, because that makes nose contour look so much more natural than just having two lines that don't join to anything. I'm now going to be going in with lips. So my two Holy Grail lip liner products are from NYX and Morphe. So I can't actually pick between them because the formula is so similar. But yeah, the NYX lip pencil, amazing, really long lasting, really creamy, amazing range of colours in this lip pencil. So I love these, and I originally used these first, but then Morphe, we actually had a new Morphe opening in our city centre, so then I obviously started trying Morphe's one, and this is cheaper, not by much, but the Morphe one's cheaper. I'd say Morphe's got a lot more of a colour range than NYX, but I do like both equally the same. I'm going to go with NYX, but that's only because the lip products that I've used from the drugstore are both from NYX, so that's the only reason why. But I do actually really like Morphe and NYX equally the same. It's so long lasting, and it's literally such a good dupe for the MAC Cosmetics pencils. This is in the shade Cocoa, by the way, I don't think I mentioned that. So as I mentioned before, the drugstore lipstick that I actually chose for today's tutorial, so my Holy Grail, was from NYX. So this is the NYX Lip Lingerie, I think. Yeah, NYX Lip Lingerie, and I've picked up the shade Cashmere Silk. So this formula is a great dupe of Jeffree Star Velour Liquid Lip. It's obviously a lot cheaper than Jeffree Star's version, but this one, I'd have to say, is just as thin. Like, Jeffree Star's formula is not that thick, so this is just as thin and very similar in consistency. Very long lasting. I mean, I do still prefer Jeffree's, but this is really, really close. Another really close dupe of the Jeffree Star Velour Liquid Lip is the Wet n Wild Mega Last Liquid Matte Lipstick. So the only reason I'm not using this as my Holy Grail today is because there's really not that many shades. Whereas in the NYX Lip Lingerie, there's absolutely loads. So yeah, both of these two are a dupe for Jeffree Star's formula. So if anyone's interested in a dupe, then obviously go and check these out. So I'm just going to be applying this. So this is Cashmere Silk. Okay, so now for my favourite drugstore lip gloss, it's got to be the NYX Butter Gloss. These are so reflective, so long lasting, I'd say. And it's literally not one of those glosses that just wipes off after like an hour and you'd have to reapply it all the time. It really is super long lasting, very creamy, quite pigmented. It's not just like the shades, like I apply this and you can visibly tell I've got it on. So it annoys me if I pick up a gloss and I think it's going to be a certain colour and then it's just literally clear, like a clear gloss. It's like, oh, it annoys me paying extra for certain coloured gloss. But this one is really like opaque, is it called? Where like it's like a block colour. So I'm going to be applying this now. This is definitely my favourite shade. So this is the shade Fortune Cookie. So as you can see, it's clearly got like a colour to it. And yeah, it is very sticky and so reflective and really long lasting. So that's why this has to be my favourite drugstore gloss. So I'm now actually going to be going back in with that Primark spray that I used before. So I'm actually going to be using this today. I actually love this spray, and this is just to take away that powdery look from the skin and to just set the makeup and lock it all in place. So guys, this is the finished and completed look. Now, I don't know about you, but I am obsessed with this look. Like, every product I've used today, I really love it. And I feel like this is the best my skin has looked in a tutorial for a very long time. Like, this glow, this flawlessness, like, I am obsessed. And I think the main reason I'm obsessed with it is because of the foundation. All the other products are amazing, but I think the actual foundation is, like, I forgot how good that foundation is, but it really is my favourite drugstore foundation. So if there was one product I would highly recommend that everyone goes and buys if you want a flawless full coverage finish, then it's definitely the Makeup Revolution Conceal and Define Full Coverage Foundation. Definitely a favourite, and I'm actually going to go out and just buy a few more just in case they ever stop making this foundation. That's how much I love it. Like, honestly, I'm obsessed. It's so perfectly matte but so dewy at the same time. It's somewhere perfectly in between. It's not caking on the skin. It's really doing its best to, like, not emphasize pores. Like, I am obsessed. Anyway, you get the point. So yeah, I really hope that everyone's enjoyed today's tutorial and review. Let me know what you think of the products used today, and any of those your favourite drugstore products as well, and any of the products I've used, your holy grails, or any of the products I've used you absolutely, like, despise. Let me know anyway. But before we go, please don't forget to like this video. Also, don't forget to enter the e.l.f. Melt International giveaway if you haven't already. Good luck. And please subscribe and please hit that notification bell if you don't want to miss any of my weekly uploads. But apart from that, even if you don't do all that, just thank you for watching anyway, and thank you for sticking around to the end. I really appreciate it, and I look forward to seeing you in the next tutorial.